Good morning, everyone. We are coming to you live via Facebook streaming, via YouTube streaming, and also via Skype online. Each one of you is welcomed to this live streaming. Vigyan Bhairav Tantra, significance of stop techniques. Significance of stop techniques. Normally, we are engaged in activities, but there is a state of inactivity. These stop techniques are there to suddenly throw into a state of inactivity, and that is the significance of it. But how it does, for example, you are in activity, the energy, whenever you are in activity, the energy is in movement, and the moment you stop suddenly, you are thrown into a state of inactivity, and the energy that was on the movement goes back to those areas where it was needed the most. Mechanism of these techniques of stopping is really to throw you suddenly into a state of inactivity. But the point, the state of inactivity has to come suddenly, because if you try to be inactive, you will turn this inactivity into activity. So do not try. Suddenly be inactive. That is the meaning of the stop technique. Gurdjieff used these stop techniques. You would recall the children play games. Peter says stop. These are in fact meditation techniques which are used in such a manner that children do not know this is meditation, but it is actually meditation techniques. They are jumping. Peter says jump, jump, jump. Children are jumping, and in jumping the energy is generated. All of a sudden, Peter says, stop. That time, the children have to stop completely and be in a position whatever they are at the moment when stop word is uttered. Whether the feet is in the air or any situation. If you try to adjust, that is an activity. Do not try, just stop. If you try, you will miss the point. For example, you are listening to me sitting. If I say stop, then stop immediately, then and there. Not even a single moment is to be missed. If you try and adjust, and you settle down and then say, okay, now I will stop, you have missed the point. Suddenly is the essential core or the base. So do not make any effort to stop, just stop. There was an anecdote. Gurdjieff had a congregation of almost 100 dancers, and it was a stage performance in New York. The stage was quite high. The dancers, in the process of dancing, reached almost to the edge of the stage. They thought Gurdjieff will say stop, but Gurdjieff turned his face away from the dancers to light his cigar. He did not say stop. And all the people fell from the stage onto the main floor, but not even a single, it was almost 6 to 7 feet high stage, not even a single person got damaged. That is the miracle of it. You can try this anywhere. There is no particular place or activity where you have to try. You are taking a shower. Suddenly say to yourself, stop, and stop then and there. Even if it is only for a single moment, you will feel a different phenomena happening within you. I am talking, the movement is there, the energy is in the movement. Suddenly I stop. So at times the masters create such situations without letting you know. All of a sudden, when I become silent, even if it is during these talk sessions, I cannot be silent for longer period of time. At the moment, for few seconds, the moment I turned silent for few moments, and that too happens when I am saying something very important. You are anxious to know what will be the next word, but I become suddenly silent. I am creating a gap in you, in your thinking process, and you also fall in the gap. So this is what gaps I am creating. So when you suddenly stop during the moments of taking shower, you will feel a different phenomena happening within you. You are thrown to the center and suddenly everything stops. Suddenly everything stops. Not only your body. When the body totally stops, the mind also stops. When you say stop, do not breathe even. Let everything stop. No breathing, no bodily movement, no bodily movement. For a single moment, remain in this state of total stop. You will feel you have penetrated suddenly at a rocket speed, and you have reached to your center. And even a glimpse, even a glimpse is miraculous. It is revolutionary. It changes you, and by you will get a clear glimpse of the center. That is why inactivity is not to be practiced. Use it suddenly when you are not aware. So, a master can be helpful. This is a group method. Gurdjieff used this group method because if you say stop, you can deceive yourself easily. First you will make yourself comfortable and then you will stop. Or even if consciously you have not made any preparation for it, unconsciously you may be prepared. Then you say, now I will stop. If it is done by the mind, there is a planning behind it, and it becomes useless. Then the technique will not help you in any way. So the group, in a group it is good. A master is working with you and he says stop. He will find moments when you are in a very inconvenient posture, and then a flash happens, a sudden lightning takes place. So when we devise the games for the children, where not much of a space is needed, but these exercises, these games are of intense activity, the physical activity at the physical level, and suddenly you stop. Unknowingly the children are thrown into the state of meditation. Activity can be practiced, but inactivity cannot be practiced. And if you practice it, it becomes activity, another activity. You can be inactive only suddenly. Sometimes it happens you are driving a car. Suddenly you feel that you are going in an accident, you are going to hit the next car. That other car has reached very close to your car, and in just a moment there will be a crash. Suddenly mind stops, breathing stops, everything stops. So many things in such accident, in such things, one is thrown to the center. You may miss the point even in an accident. You cannot train your mind for accidents. Accidents are sudden happenings. If you are planning, then you cannot call it an accident. If you are ready, if you have passed through the rehearsal, then it is not an accident. Accident means that the mind is not ready to do anything. The thing is so sudden, it leaps from the unknown. Mind cannot do anything. It is not ready, not even trained for. It is bound to stop unless you start something else, unless you start something for which you are trained. As far as the situation are concerned, nothing could be done. One could only be aware whatsoever happening was happening. You can only be aware as far as the present moment is concerned. In an accident, what can you do? It is already beyond you, and the mind is not prepared for it. The mind cannot function, so suddenly it stops. That's why dangers have a secret appeal, an intrinsic appeal. And in fact, these are meditative moments. If you are racing a car, it goes beyond 90 miles an hour, then beyond the 100, and beyond 110 miles, and beyond 120. Then a situation comes in which anything can happen and you will not be able to do anything. Now the car is beyond control. Going beyond control, suddenly the mind cannot function. It is not ready. And that is the thrill of speed, because a silence creeps in. You are thrown to the center. These techniques help you to move to your center without any accident, without any danger. But remember, you cannot practice them. When I say you cannot practice them, what do I mean? In a way, you can practice them, suddenly you can stop. But stopping must be sudden. You must not be prepared for it. You should not think about it or plan that at 12 o'clock I will stop. Let the unknown happen to you when you are unprepared. Move in the unknown, the uncharted, without any knowledge, without any knowing. This is one technique. The first sutra of the stop technique. Just as you have impulse to do something, stop. This is one dimension. For example, you have an impulse to sneeze. You are feeling that the impulse is coming. You are feeling the sneeze is coming. Now a moment comes when you cannot do anything, it will happen. But in the very beginning of the feeling, when you feel the sensation of a sneeze coming to you, the moment you become aware that a sneeze is coming, stop. What can you do? Can you stop the sneeze? If you try to stop the sneeze will come sooner, because stopping will make your mind more conscious about it and you will feel the sensation more. You will become more sensitive. Your total attention will be there, and that attention will help the sneeze to come sooner. It will become unbearable. You cannot stop the sneeze directly, but you can stop yourself. What can you do? You feel the sensation that a sneeze is coming. Stop. Do not try to stop the sneeze. Just stop yourself. Do not do anything. Remain completely unmoving, with not even your breathing, your breath going in or coming out. For a moment, stop. And you will feel the impulse has gone back, that it has dropped. And in dropping the impulse, a subtle energy is released, which is used in going towards your center. Because in a sneeze you are throwing some energy out in an impulse. Impulse means you are burdened with some energy. You cannot use it. You cannot absorb it. It wants to come out. It wants to be thrown out. And in doing that, you get a relief. That is why after you sneeze, you feel good. A subtle well-being. Nothing has happened. You have simply released some energy which was superfluous, a burden. Now it is no more there. You are relieved of it. Then you feel a subtle relaxation within. That is what happens in a sneeze. That is why psychologists like Pavlov, Skinner's, and others say that sex is nothing but it is like a sneezing. They say psychologically there is no difference. Sex is like sneezing. You are overburdened with energy. You want to throw it out. Once it is thrown, your entire mechanism relaxes. You become unburdened. Then you feel good. That good feeling is just a release, according to psychologists. And as far as psychology goes, they are right. Whenever you have some impulse, just as you have the impulse to do something, stop. Not only a psychological impulse, any impulse can do. For example, you are going to drink a glass of water. You have touched the water, the glass. Suddenly, stop. Let the hand be there. Let the desire to drink, the thirst be there inside, but you stop completely. The glass is outside and the thirst is inside. The hand is on the glass. The eyes are on the glass. Suddenly, stop. No breathing, no movement, as if you have become dead. The very impulse, the thirst, will release energy, and that energy is used for going to the center. You will be thrown to your center. Why? Because any impulse is a movement outside, and when you stop this impulse for the energy to go outward, suddenly changes its direction. Remember, impulse means energy moving outward. Anger is also that. Remember another thing, energy is always in movement. Either it is going out or it is coming in. Energy can never remain static. These are the laws. If you understand the law, then the mechanism of the technique becomes easy for you. Energy is always in movement. Either it is moving out or moving in. Energy can never remain static. If it is static, it is not energy. And there is nothing which is not energy. So everything is moving somewhere. When an impulse comes to you, it means energy is moving out. That is why your hand goes to the glass. You have moved out. A desire has come to do something. All activities are movements towards that which is without and from which is within. Movement from within to without. And when you stop suddenly, the energy that was in movement can never remain static. You have become static, but the energy cannot remain static in you, and the mechanism through which you were moving out is dead. It has stopped. So what can energy do? The energy cannot do anything other than move inwards. Energy cannot remain static. It was going out. Suddenly you have stopped. The mechanism of moving outward has stopped, but the mechanism which can lead it inwards is there. The energy will move inwards. You are converting your energy, changing its dimension every moment without knowing it. You are angry. You feel to beat someone or destroy something or to do something violent. Try this. Take someone, your friend, your wife, your children, or anyone. Doesn't matter who it is. Take someone, your friend, your wife, your child, anyone, and hug, kiss or embrace him or her. You were angry. You were going to destroy something. You wanted to do something violent. Your mind was destructive. The energy was moving towards the violence. Love someone immediately. It is hard, but you have to practice it. In the beginning, you may feel that this is just like an acting. You will wonder, how can I love? How can I love at this moment? I am angry. You do not know the mechanism. In this moment, you can love deeply because the energy has been aroused. It has arisen. It has come to the point where it wants to be expressed. The energy needs movement. If you just start loving someone, the same energy will move into love, and you will feel a rush of energy that you may not have felt ever. There are persons who cannot go into love unless they are angry, unless they are violent. There are people who can only go into deep love when the energy is moving violently. You may not have observed, but it happens daily. Couples will fight before they make love. Wives and husbands fight, become angry with one another, become violent, and then they make love. And they may not have understood what was happening. Then it becomes a mechanical habit. Whenever they fight, they will make love. And the day they do not fight, there is no way that they can make love. Particularly, why this fight is so associated with love? It is associated because the same energy can move in different directions. You may call it love or hate. They look opposite, but they are not so opposite because energy is the same and it is in movement. So a person who becomes capable of hate becomes capable of loving. According to your own definition of love, a person who cannot be violently angry becomes capable of love, which you know. He may be capable of a different quality of love, but that is not your love. A Buddha loves, but that love is of a totally different quality. That is why Buddha calls it compassion. He never calls it love. It is more like compassion, less like love, because your love implies hate, anger, and violence in it, in a subtle form. Energy can move, can change direction. It can become hate, it can become love. The same energy can move inwards. So whenever you have the impulse to do something, stop. And this stopping is not suppression. You are not suppressing anything. You are just playing with energy. Just playing with energy and knowing the working of it, how it works inwardly. But remember, the impulse must be real, authentic, otherwise it will not happen. For example, when there is no thirst, you move to the glass of water and then suddenly stop. Nothing will happen because there is nothing to happen. The energy was not moving. First, there has to be a thirst. You were feeling love towards your wife, towards your husband, towards your friend. You wanted to hug or kiss and stop. But the impulse must be there authentically. If the impulse is not there, you were just going to console someone, to kiss because kiss is expected, and then you stop. Then nothing will happen because nothing was moving inside. So first of all, you must remember that impulse is authentic, Only with a real impulse, energy moves within. Then a real impulse, when it is suddenly stopped, the energy becomes suspended with no dimension from where to move out. It turns in. It has to move. It cannot remain there. But we are so false, and nothing seems real. You eat your meal because of the clock, because of the time, not because of hunger. So if you stop, nothing will happen, because it was not so. There was no hunger behind it, no impulse. No energy was moving there. That is why if you take your meals at 1 o'clock, at 1 you will feel hunger. But this hunger is false. It is just a mechanical habit, just a dead habit. So learn to eat when you are hungry. Buddha says, I eat when I am hungry. I sleep when I am sleepy. Your body is not hungry. If you do not eat, you will not feel anything. You will feel something is missing. But it can remain for 1 hour without. If you remain 1 hour without eating, you will forget it. Hunger will be subsided. This is what happens sometimes. You are busy in an activity and you forget about hunger. A real hunger will grow more and more. It is bound to grow. If your hunger was real, then at 2 you will feel more hungry. If hunger is false, at 2 you have completely forgotten it. Really, there will be no hunger at 2. Even if you want to eat now, you are not feeling hungry. Hunger was just false, a mechanical habit. No energy was moving. It was just a mind saying to you, it is 1 o'clock. It is time to eat. If you are feeling sleepy, stop. But the feeling of sleep must be real, and that is the problem. That is the problem for all of us. It will not be so in Shiva's time. When Vigyan Bhairav Tantra were given for the first time, it was not so. Man was authentic. Humanity was real, pure. Nothing was false. With us, now everything is false. You pretend that you love. You pretend that you are angry. You go on pretending, and then you forget yourself whether you are pretending or whether anything real is left. You never say what is in you. You never express it. You go on expressing what it is, what is not there. Watch yourself and you will come to know about it. You say something, but you feel something else. You want to say quite the opposite, but you say the real thing. When you will become totally unfit, because the society is false, and in a false society you can exist only as a false person. The more adjusted, the more false, because If you want to be real, you will feel a maladjustments. That's why renunciation came into existence, because of the false society. Buddha had to leave not because he had any positive meaning, but only a negative meaning, because with a false society you cannot be real. He had been fasting, doing penances. This was the way of the time. In order to attain to awakening, that was the known method. Buddha moved away from it, and then the 5 disciples, they left and they felt that Buddha had gone in the wrong direction. Because with a false society you cannot be real, or at the most you are in a constant struggle, unnecessarily and dissipating energy. So leave the unreal, leave the false, so that you can be real. And that was the basic reason for renunciation. So watch yourself, how unreal you are. Watch your double mind. You say something but you do something else. You are feeling something else. This is what happens on a day-to-day basis. Simultaneously you are saying one thing, but your mind, something in your mind, and something else without. Thus, if you stop anything which is not real, the technique will not help. So find something authentic about yourself and then try to stop. Not everything has become false. Many things are still real. Fortunately, everyone is real sometimes. In some moments, everything is real, then stop. You are feeling angry and you feel it is real. You are going to destroy something, beat your child or do something, then stop. But do not stop with a consideration. Do not say anger is bad, that's why you are stopping. Suddenly stop. Do not say that I should not beat the child because it is not going to be good to him, and this is not good for me either. This is useless and it will never help. Anger is pure energy. Nothing is bad, nothing is good. It may become good, it may become bad. That will depend on the result, not on the energy. It is the result that makes it good or bad. It can become bad if it goes out and destroys something. The energy is the same. If it goes out, it becomes bad because it destroys something. If it is, and in going out, it becomes destructive. It may become a beautiful ecstasy if it moves within and throws you to the center. It may become a flower. Energy is simply energy, pure, innocent and neutral. Its movement outward is destructive. Its movement within is blissful. Do not consider it. You are going to do something. Do not think. Simply stop and remain stopped. In that remaining, you will get the glimpse of your center. You will forget the periphery. Just you have impulse to do something, stop, try it. Remember 3 things. 1, try it only when the impulse is real. Secondly, do not think about it, just stop. And third, wait when you have stopped. No breathing, no movement. Wait and see what happens, but do not try. When I say wait, I mean do not try, do not now think about the inner center. And if you think about the inner center, that you have to stop so that the energy can move within, you have missed the point. Do not think about the self of Atman or anything else. Now, do not think that now the glimpse is there. Now the glimpse is coming. Do not think. Just wait. Let the impulse, the energy move by itself. If you start thinking about a Brahman and the soul or the center, the energy will move in the thinking. That is why a sudden stop is necessary. You can waste this inner energy very simply. Just a thought will be enough to give it a new direction. Then you will go on thinking. When I stop, it means, when I say stop, I mean total stop, no breathing. And when breathing is not there, mind stops, no thinking. As if the whole time has stopped. There is no movement. Simply you stop in that simple existence. Suddenly the center explodes. This was about the first technique. When there is a sudden impulse to do something, stop. We will continue in the second technique in tomorrow's session. Until then, take care and do have a pleasant day.